Just started recording, by the way. So you want to repeat that?
Okay. So something about Inkorporated that we find very important is that our company is, gosh, I'm stuttering. Our company is trying to really change society's view on tattooed people and the tattooed community and give it more of a positive view and show people that we are definitely a positive part of society.
Right on. Well, I mean, do you really feel that it's a big stigma right now?
When you're talking about in reference to other tattooed organizations in the past, I feel like there's a certain image that has been portrayed that we're trying to break away from specifically with our brand. Because everybody nowadays has tattoos. So, more and more people in different professions. But when you really if you Google a tattooed model, especially for women, everyone's always naked. And it's kind of like, that's fine. I'm a very body positive person, but I feel like there's a time and place for nudity, but it doesn't have to be every time and every place. So when you think about a tattooed model, there's tons of people out there who have tattoos that would like to branch into that, but you hear them say I don't know if I could do that though, because I'm not that racy. And I just think it's kind of sad that when people think of tattooed models, their mind automatically goes to being in a G-string or, you know what I mean? Rather than being more of a professional person.
Yeah, of course. I've known people on both sides of that spectrum. I've known very, my sister being one of them, a very conservative woman. She's not a very, I guess, rambunctious type. She's a very homebody, very calm person, but she's gotten several tattoos in the last few years, and she's one of those people you'd never expect to have ever gotten a tattoo initially to begin with. So, I think it's becoming a lot more common now in more uptight society, I guess. But but yeah, there's definitely still somewhat of a stigma. I am missing my pop filter. Where did that go?
Yeah, I'm like, what happened to your pop filter?
A little ADD over here. But okay, so before we continue on here, guys, this is the Completely Inappropriate Podcast. I am the host, Tony, along with the other host,
Frank.
And you can find us at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com, at completelyinapp on Twitter, at CI Podcast on Instagram, and anywhere you find YouTube, BitChute, you just search Completely Inappropriate Podcast. Throw some underscores in there if you're confused on BitChute, apparently, because, Frank. So
I happened.
So today we have three lovely ladies who have started a wonderful business involving Inked Ladies of America. Just America? Are you
and guys. Yes, and men.
Oh, you got, so it's not just focused on women. Okay, so before we get on further into that, let's introduce yourselves. We started with Emily. We had Emily on one of our very first podcasts dealing with the Women of Ink scandal of 2019, right? Last year. Right?
Yeah,
when we started this.
Yeah.
And so Emily, you want to let us know, tell us who you are, what you do, and we'll go to your compatriots there.
We're very excited. Okay. So actually, it's funny because both of my girls here have competed in the Women of Ink as well, so they know all the ins and outs of what we had talked about before. But yes, my name's Emily Galvan. I'm 28 years old. I am an admin assistant for the District Office of Farmers Insurance, and yeah, that's what I do. And it's funny because whenever I started my job, I thought my tattoos would be a problem because it is such, it's like a corporate job basically. And my boss is a really, really cool guy. He's like, you know what? He's like, basically just don't look like a bum. Do your hair, do your makeup, look nice. And I don't care what you look like otherwise, just look as professional as possible. So that was really cool. Coming from, I used to work at banks and stuff like that. So I always felt like kind of shamed in a way for being modified and looking different, but this is just who I am, and I'm not going to change that to fit in. I'll find somewhere else to work or whatever, but I hated that. I hated that about all the jobs that I had.
Right. Yeah, I can relate somewhat because I'm a skinny guy with a beard and long hair who happens to be brown, and when I first started doing this look, especially with like older men in our location, they'd look at me, and I swear, one time I went to our local convenience store, and the guy at the counter was staring me down as I'm in line, like going through, and I could tell he's looking at me with some sort of vitriol in his eyes, right? So I get to the counter, and he's like mad dogging me the whole time, and as I'm leaving, thank you very much. He's like, yes, sir, and thank you, and God bless America. I was like, Jesus, do I look that much like Taliban today?
Oh no!
This
Like the
guy had to like
Taliban.
look me and be like, God bless America, to make sure I was like for Jesus and not for Muhammad or something. Like it was a
Oh
real.
my god!
Now,
Wow. I would have been like, yes, bless Allah.
so God bless America. Like, well, God bless all of us. And then I walked away, you know. But by itself, I would have taken it as a fluke, right? But within that same month, I went out for a run, and all of a sudden I hear police behind me. I'm like, oh, they're pulling someone over. So I get out the side of the road and I get the gas. And then all of a sudden there's three more cop cars around me. I'm surrounded by cop cars, and I'm running in like my running shorts and no shirt on. Like I've got nothing. I'm not like I'm obviously not doing anything inappropriate. But these guys pull me over, and all of a sudden they're telling me, get on your knees. There's been a robbery in the area. They said they were running from this location. Like, but I'm running towards that location. Why? So after that, I shaved my beard for a little while. I cut the hair, and I'm growing it back out now. But yeah, it wasn't. It's so. Yeah, people just love to judge books by their cover. So that's how I relate to you, Emily. Let's get to your friends now. Sorry, this is the flow of the podcast, you guys. You're
Yeah.
gonna have to okay with
We're cool
distraction.
with that. Who's
So
tag
on
cooking now?
your left, we're saving unicorn for last.
All right, take it. That works.
Well, I have a
Brittany.
feeling we're a bond, me and unicorn. So we-
They're magical.
yeah.
So I'm Brittany Colt. Most people
Hi,
just call
Brittany.
me Brit. Hello. So I am a personal trainer. That's what I do for my career at the moment. But I didn't go to school for that. I actually have my master's in counseling psychology, and I took the national licensure exam to do therapy. So I used to do counseling for a little bit.
So you decided to go to school for the mental, but go to work at the physical.
Yeah, because I started competing in bodybuilding when I was getting my master's degree.
Right on.
And I just really fell in love with fitness. So I'm a bikini competitor. I've been to nationals before, plan to go back there later this year. I also compete in powerlifting.
Fantastic.
And I'm blind.
Are
so
you?
Yeah.
Like blind?
Well, you
Actually,
said you looked at my Instagram. It says in my bio.
Frank,
She
yeah,
has
I
her
did no
pimp stick
research
handy
for
right
that.
now.
Sorry? What was that, Emily?
She has her pimp stick. It's hot pink.
Oh, that's oh, that is slick. No, yeah, Frank went through the Instagram. I don't do research
Yeah,
for this.
I did.
For shame.
For shame.
Well, y'all are his guests. I wanted to come in here fresh and
That's fair. That's fair. Well, now you know. Okay, so moving on. Yeah, so I teach a lot of mindset stuff in my personal training. I do in-person training as well as online. And I'm an internationally published fitness model. I've been in Strong Fitness magazine as well as Oxygen magazine, which is on newsstands everywhere. And
Fantastic.
I met these two ladies through competing at Women of Ink.
at where?
Women of Ink.
Women of Ink, and that was it just for the new listeners. That was it here in Corpus, right?
Yeah, so
You
Women
guys
of Ink was a ink model contest that was in Corpus for a little while, and then there was a whole scandal. Refer to the other podcast that you did with Emily.
Yeah, we had no intentions of being some sort of news outlet for this kind of stuff, but it was really fun going through it. Unfortunate that there was that to go through, but we were happy to shine some light on it. Okay, so you were doing the competition. So how did you get involved? Well, how did you get involved with ink? When was the first time you got ink?
So I got my first tattoo when I turned 19. And it's kind of funny actually because I used to faint with needles. Like I'd go to the doctors and get a shot or get blood drawn, and I would like pass the fuck out. And so when I told my parents I would need to go get a tattoo, they're like, "You're full of shit. You're gonna like pass out. You're not gonna get it done." So I actually got this half sleeve for my first tattoo. And yeah, so that's how that started. And then I did the first Women of Ink a few years later. That's how I met Unicorn Kim over here.
Hello.
She actually got for second place at the first annual Women of Ink, and I was third place. So that's how we met. And then the following year at the second annual Women of Ink, I was crowd favorite, and then I met Emily, who was competing there. And then I kind of stopped doing them after that because I didn't like the direction it was going. And I hate that we have to bring up Women of Ink so much because I think that's another thing when you were asking us, like, what do we want people to know about our brand? We're not trying to be anything like Women of Ink. The only thing in common is that we're inked. But other than that, like the direction we're going, completely different.
Yeah, it's a completely different thing. I did go to your group page, the company page, and get that little bio there. So I understand completely that you're definitely not just another competition that's trying to get people together and take their money and their time and use them as Oni did back at that Women of Ink. But okay, so thank you. Moving on to Kim, was it?
Yes.
It's Kimberlyn.
Unikim.
I don't go by Kim anymore because that's my I've moved on to my grown-up name. It's Kimberlyn.
That's your slave. Yeah.
I've been like my drunken alcoholic name.
Oh, I know. I've been going by Tony for so long. I'd really love to switch to Anthony just to sound a little bit more professional again, but no, nobody can see me that professionally, I guess.
Yes, like everybody when I start drinking, they're like, "Oh God, drunk Kim is here. Watch out."
Yeah, I'm off and on the sauce myself. I'm forever trying to catch that. But first things first with you, Kim. Why did you decide to do a Skype interview in a unicorn onesie?
Well, first of all, she didn't tell me it was Skype. She did tell me that it was like audio only, and I was like, "All right, y'all come over." I'm hanging out in my unicorn onesie and my unicorn slippers. Like,
right on.
I'm a collector of onesies, and this is my favorite one.
Hold on. You just say unicorn slippers. We got to see these bad boys.
Hold on.
What do these look like? You put them on.
Boom. They got little unicorn horns.
Those are fire. Those are fire.
And I mean, we actually also have like a little unicorn chilling with us too.
Right on. You have like a whole motif in your apartment or house there.
I mean,
unicorns.
I like unicorns.
She's an adult by day, unicorn by night.
Yeah.
You don't have like a painting of yourself riding a unicorn under a rainbow, do you?
Oh my God, we should get that commission.
I got a sister.
If anybody knows somebody who does that, y'all can DM me their name.
All right, Kim. So tell us a little bit about it. I'm sorry. I just lost my microphone.
Yeah, go ahead and plug it in. And then, yeah, so Tony was saying that he's got a sister that does that. So, yeah, the pink thing.
Perfect.
So, yeah. So, everything works out for the best. But, yeah, so then, again, I asked if
Pause
what?
for 1 second.
Okay.
We're pausing.
Yes.
Pausing.
Should we like sing for the intermission or like? It's a small world. I mean, My Little Pony. Like, what do y'all want?
Something a little more dark. I'm a creep.
I'm a weirdo. Nobody likes me. Everybody hates me. I'm going out to eat worms. Oh God, we're all so strange.
Okay, can you hear me?
Mic check. Can you hear us?
Yep.
Yes. Yep.
Fantastic. Second.
The dog. Stop kissing the dog.
But I like the dog.
That's bestiality and it's illegal.
I don't have anyone else to kiss.
Oh, you can kiss
Yes.
the unicorn.
I think it's picking me up.
Yeah, it is.
There it is. All right, we're good. Sorry about that.
It happens.
Stop kissing the dog.
Sorry.
Keep kissing the dog. It's a dog. That's what they're.
I have no one else in my life.
Oh, by the way, Emily's on the market. You do have to submit an application. So if anybody's interested, I've got applications available. So just message, fill out the application, and we'll set you up for a Skype interview.
I am not a piece of meat.
What's great is that this is recording again, just so you know. So this is going. So,
Yes, please add that in there. I did a post like early this week, and it got like so many comments, and people actually did fill out the application, but nobody was really qualified. There was one that was like a maybe, and then he messaged me at like 11:30 at night, and he's like, "It's almost Saturday," and I'm like, "Yeah, you're off the list, bro."
yeah, I would go to maybe. You should probably go to a bookstore rather than online if you're looking for a real relationship. Can you stay away
We
from?
have COVID-19. There are no bookstores open, so we're just gonna have to take applications.
So I'm quarantining and chilling with the dog.
No, it's
That's
from
illegal.
Pinkberry Delivery Guys, and
Hey.
hopefully one of them.
Actually, now they're doing doorstep drop-offs. They're not even interacting. They're just
Oh, that's-
contact.
Yeah, they just knock and run away.
You gotta get what you do is you get a Ring security system, right? So you could see them. Pin up
Don't
pictures.
tell her that. She will do some stalker shit.
So you gotta,
follow quite nicely.
y'all, when you two on the sides, just lean a little closer when you guys are talking, because it's a little hard for them. Oh, that was cute. You both did it. It was like a little Charlie thing, like ding ding. And
We're in sync. Like, it's really weird.
yeah,
Even
see,
our periods.
Wow.
oh, don't worry. I grew up with 4 sisters. I know that game. It was
I get my next
Very-
period every month.
the restroom was very red right around the second week of every month.
Oh wow! I just love that you know when it happened. You're like second week every month.
I care. If I could tell you right now, we're probably about 4 or 5 days off of my wife's.
Oh
Oh my god! All right, that's impressive.
I care, damn it. I care.
Yeah,
So
You're like, I'm
Wait,
stocked up on
hold on.
snacks.
Hold on. Getting out of control here.
Okay.
All right, we gotta. Now,
Honey,
Kim,
please go lay down in the dark. Here's a snack.
Yes,
Chocolate
that's
butter better.
madam.
so we need to know more about the unicorn.
No.
We disconnected right when we were getting into it.
Damn it. I dropped the phone.
Oh shit! I
Yeah.
screamed louder than anything on this entire.
Hold on.
You're loud. I apologize.
We are so loud. We are loud people.
Screamed loud. I screamed like directly into the mic.
Men can also scream like girls. Don't be sexist. Man.
Oh damn it! So
So,
Kimberly, not Kim.
what?
Kimberly? Was it Kimberly?
Kimberlyn.
Kimberlyn. I knew I didn't hear Kimberly.
Oh, I wrote down Kimberly.
You wrote down Kimberly.
Yeah.
You.
Wow. I'm so
You're
offended.
fired. You're fired.
Hey, I'd like to say though, Kimberlyn is the coolest name I think I've heard in a while. So congratulations on unique in my life.
I
anyway.
was named after a soap opera character, and then my parents are like, "Why are you so dramatic?" I'm like,
You did this to me.
All. Yeah, my son was named after Jax Teller from Sons of Anarchy,
"Oh my god."
Yes.
Y'all are
What's up?
terrible.
and then his middle name is Benicio for Benicio del Toro.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
Yeah, I know my son.
You're gonna be a
Anyway.
person.
Kimberlyn, please tell us about you already.
All right. So besides my plethora, please stop playing with my horn. My plethora of onesies. I'm going to school.
I'd like to buzz in and say things Frank will never say in his life for 100, Alex. My horn.
So I'm going to college for business admin. I'm going to Del Mar right now, and then I'll transfer to a major college. Are you struggling over there?
I'm struggling with her masturbating your horn, yes.
I know. She's like stroking my unicorn horn.
I told you guys I'm very, very single.
She's lonely.
Been single too long, yeah.
Quarantine makes people lonely.
So, God. I do some writing. I have a page. I haven't really posted anything new lately, but I do dabble in writing.
What's
have-
on her? Prose? Do you just write prose, stories? What? Poetry?
I write little stories, poetry. I've definitely written some really, like, I guess, painful pieces about, like, suicide because, you know, everyone's gone through their periods of depression.
And I wrote a take on like why people are depressed. I wrote like a piece about depression is not sadness. It's totally different.
Right.
So I have a whole bunch of different pieces from like fantasy to like really serious stuff.
Oh, you got to link us to that so we could post it up. That I'd be really interested in reading that stuff. I fancy myself a writer a bit as well. I don't publish it.
One of my shoots that I actually did with Efren Corona, and of course my
cohorts,
my hype team, and then Virginia Stevenson did my makeup. It was a full fantasy piece where like we painted my face all and like put little rhinestones on it, and it basically makes me look like a really attractive evil water succubus. It was great.
That's cool.
But yeah, it was super fun, especially with them sitting in the truck because it was too cold to get out, shouting at me from the window.
All right, so how did you get involved with these two ladies?
So, like Brittany said, I did the Women of Ink competition the first time, and that's actually the first time I'd ever seen her. And you know, I like she said, I got second, she got third place. We never really interacted much. Well, one day Brittany makes a post on Facebook. About a year and a half ago. Brittany makes a post and she's like, "Oh my God, I need a girls' night. Like, who's down?" And I'm like, "Dude, I don't have friends. Let's do the thing."
God damn, see, I wish guys could do that. You know how many times I would have posted that exact same thing if I thought anybody would be outgoing enough to do it?
Well,
Don't make it sound so sad. I enjoy being a loner, but yeah.
Well, you know what's funny is like 6 months before that, I made a post and like nobody showed up. And I was like, this is why I don't make posts like this. But something told me like, all right, let's try it one more time.
Right on.
And I even put at the bottom, like, serious inquiries only.
She did. She was like, do not say you're going if you're not going to show up. So like, I was like, damn, I'm committed because I said I was going. So we show up and there's like 6 or 8 people and we're all at Nico's in this round table and we all got kind of lit up on margaritas. Most of us are strangers and we were telling the raunchiest, most dirty and just terrible stories. We were sharing all of our host stories with all these strange girls. I mean, like, I'd only met Britt a couple times. Never met Emily before. Never met any of the other girls. And it was just like the best girl meet ever.
That's awesome.
And we like all vibed.
That's awesome. No chance in hell you can get 3 random guys to just pull together and go out for a mandate. Mandate?
Guys' night.
A guy's night.
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never done one.
There is a movie called I Love You, Man. It's mandated.
So I've introduced our lovely ladies. Can we get to the meat of the matter? Frank, what did you want to discuss? Did you have anything in particular you want to bring up first? Because I got plenty of questions.
Okay,
Even though I thought I'd have nothing for you. I'm not going to lie. I thought this was going to be a bust. I was like, 3 people on Skype? You have any idea how much audio troubles that's going to be? But this isn't nearly as bad. Luckily, I spent like a good 45 minutes setting this up, so it's a lot better than it But so getting into the meat of the matter, what do we got, Frank?
Yeah, we already clarified, right, that you ladies are trying to distance yourselves from Women of Ink as much as possible, even though what was it? One of the prizes was a photo shoot, and who was it? Was it you, Emily, that was saying that there were even nude shoots going on?
He was asking you to do nude shoots as well?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Right?
Maybe I did. I don't know. I didn't know we were going to rehash this old episode, though. Move on.
Well,
what are we doing
no.
today? Okay. Fuck you, Frank. You lost your chance.
Okay.
So, ladies. So, which one of you, or was it a group decision to decide to start bringing this company into being? What is the company, by the way? Let's clarify real quick for the listeners.
Okay, so basically we started this group chat where the 3 of us, we talk pretty much every single day. And we were talking about Women of Ink one day and we're like, man, we'd really like to start something better than that and something that's going to bring people together. And Brittany was like, you know what? She's like, this has been on my mind lately. I really want to do this. What do y'all think? And we're like, yeah, we want to do this too. And it just kind of snowballed from there.
That's awesome. It's kind of very similar to mine and Frank's thing with this podcast. I'm finding a lot of similarities there. Where your whole going to the bar or hitting everyone up to go to the bar and meet up was basically me randomly asking, "Hey Frank, you want to record something? You want to start a podcast?"
Well, we used to go to my parents' house. They've got a big fancy kitchen, and we do like brunch and see how many waffles Brittany could eat in one sitting. It's a lot, by the way.
I'm a growing girl.
Well,
And,
you work out, you burn those calories off. It's not. It's not.
Nobody's judging you. I love feeding you waffles.
You're in a unicorn one.
She was judging you. We could see it in her face. She was judging you.
Rude.
Yeah.
So, anyways, then with our group text, we all decided one day to like show up early before everybody else came to brunch. We all sat in like my little den area and discussed contracts and NDAs and like what exactly we wanted to do with it. And we really like built from there. We approached some photographers. One of the things that is a really big issue, I think, in the modeling community here is that a lot of the photographers pressure a lot of the models to show more skin. I know I've personally shot with photographers who are like, "Oh, come on, just one or two shots like this," and I'm like, I'm really like.
They're like a bad boyfriend. They're like a bad boyfriend. Oh, come on, babe, just a little bit, just touch it.
Yes,
Like, come on.
exactly. And I'm like,
No.
that's gonna turn off so many people who have it, like, and would do so well, but like, they're not gonna go do stuff that they're not comfortable, like, if they feel unsafe. And so one of the things that we want with Inkorporated is to bring professional photographers and professional models together in an environment that's safe, where they don't feel pressured, where they don't feel like they're gonna have to do something or wind up doing something that they're not comfortable with.
Yeah, there's going to be a complete overview of everybody and everybody that's everything that's going on, everybody interacting. Everyone's going to be very open about it. It sounds really great. Instead of going to these competitions and not knowing who you're going to end up working with as a quote unquote prize, and then being treated like a like your
object.
Exploited. Yeah.
Exploited. Thank you. I don't know why that word escaped me for a second. Yeah, exploited. It's terrible. We're all about raunchiness and being stupid and dick jokes and appreciating women probably a little more than we should. But in the end, it's I don't condone locker room talk to the extent that Trump uses it, but.
Well, that's another thing too. We don't want people to think that we're like prudes or something, like, oh, your inked come in a turtleneck. We don't care.
No.
Like
All right.
we've all done implied nude shoots, tasteful stuff. We've all done things where we're also clothed. We just don't want people to think that in order to be a tattoo model, you have to be naked.
Right. We had a recent guest on, Cassie Moon, who can we use her full name? Yeah, we did, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't. And she was saying a very similar thing. She's an Instagram model, and she's a very conservative person in her private life. It's just she takes photos that are considered a little bit more risque, and people approach her with this attitude, like she's just an attention-seeking kind of gold digger-ish kind of attitude, and she's not that type of person at all. I think anybody who listened to our interview can see how respectful she is, respectable she is, and I think that's the case with most people. Most people out there trying to utilize what God gave them, or just to feel good about themselves in some nice pictures once in a while, that people are getting judged for as if that it's 1940s and how dare you show some.
Wait, hold on! Don't say that now. Emily loves her petticoats. You can find on my Facebook page. You can find a video of her twerking her petticoated tushy. It's quite lovely.
Hey, I look good in a petticoat personally. I did
I love that you know that you look good in a petticoat.
Yeah. I was a Winky in the Harlingen Performing Arts Studio production of Wizard of Oz. Oh, Wee. Petticoat underneath my trench coat to puff it out and make me look a little funny. Yeah. I know what petticoats are. Fuck you guys.
Who's that?
Like, what's a petticoat? Oh, hey, that's someone we didn't introduce. Who's this lovely character?
This is Sadie. She is
Sadie.
my boyfriend's dog.
Uh,
Stop licking my face.
Boyfriend's dog? You claim
Yes,
you
we're
claim.
at his apartment right now.
Oh, okay.
There's a room in which I can lock my toddler in while she watches Frozen.
Aw. Is that who
And
we
I may
hear?
or may not have had to tape her diaper on just for safety measures.
Oh, did you rip it off?
Oh. Twice this week, yes. There was
Wait.
horrible.
There was a fecal incident.
There were 2 fecal incidents.
Fecal matters, if you will.
It had to do with the walls, the window, the dresser.
To the window,
To
to the wall.
To the sweat drips down my diaper. All right. So one more time. The name of your company is
Incorporated.
With a K.
Inkorporated.
Incorporated.
oh, that's cute.
So it sounds like incorporated, but it's incorporated.
Incorporated.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see what we did there.
How do you operate something?
Fuck if I know. Maybe we should ask
Very,
them.
very carefully.
Lots of skill,
Very
talent,
I like that.
finesse.
Okay. So next, just to kill some time, let's talk about your individual tattoos. How many do you have? What do you have? Do they represent anything? Do you have plans on getting any in the near future?
You can start with y'all.
You want to start, Britt?
Sure, I have 8. Do you want me to go through all of them or just?
Just pick the one. So if you've got one in particular that means more to you, that way we can explain to people that this isn't just art that you haphazardly pick all the time, just slap it on your body.
Okay.
Simple
So I
as-
have, the meaning behind it. Okay. So I have 8. I have 2 half sleeves. Each arm on the inside is covered. I have a panda on my back, music notes on my collarbone, and then I have an awareness ribbon on my hip that's for my eye condition that has caused me to go blind. And then I have a peacock feather on my foot. And my eyeliner's tattooed on as well. So I guess that counts.
That
as 9.
counts. I think that
My
counts.
grandma was the first one in my entire family to get tattooed. She got her eyebrows done.
Oh, really? Those
Yeah.
brows are on fleek.
Yep.
Absolutely.
5 years old and she's like lost all her eyebrow hair, but she's still got the tattoos on, so it's perfect. It worked out.
Right.
She's
That's awesome. Yeah, so I think my most meaningful tattoo is probably my first half sleeve, which is honeysuckle flowers on a vine, and then there's sugar skulls in the blooms of the flowers, and then on the
Are
inside
there?
I have a hummingbird, and I got this from my grandma, my great grandma who raised me, and every morning when I would be at her house, staying with her, we would cook breakfast together, and then she had hummingbird feeders in pretty much every window of her massive house, and we would watch the hummingbirds together.
Again with you, Kimberlyn.
I'm sorry.
You're going on. You just go away. We're done with you. You've broken the camera now.
I'm sorry.
Okay, one more chance. One more.
Story.
You're right.
And then
I
you guys-
ruined
Story
everything.
about her and her grandmother, and you're just kicking the camera.
Great-grandmother.
Great.
and then you're like, she's dead.
I'm a clumsy unicorn.
So we would watch the
We got it. Yes.
I'm sorry,
we
Brittany.
would watch the hummingbirds. Anyway, so that's why I got a hummingbird, and then honeysuckles are the flowers that attract hummingbirds, and then of course the sugar
Right.
skulls is for Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos. I'm half Mexican, by the way. I look white, but I'm a mixed breed. So
Lie. I was a little confused when you said you passed out from the needles. I assume it was a mental thing because for those of you on the audio not watching this, Britt is a redhead, which in my
I'm actually a blonde. I just
I'm
colored
blonde
my
with
hair.
red.
It's purple.
Rose gold.
Rose gold.
See the camera is bringing it
Red
just.
root. Yeah.
Oh,
But I'm actually
it's the
blonde.
camera. Forgive me, because I was thinking you were a redhead. Like, well, don't redheads have like a higher pain threshold, like
Well, I don't
scientifically?
know.
You don't know that?
I don't know.
You should know things.
Yeah,
So-
Google that.
Google it. I'm not.
JFBI.
But as we say in our descriptions every time, we are not experts. Fucking
Yeah.
check your sources, people.
Basically, we don't actually know what we're talking about, but we might
try.
We try, yeah. We try and dig through the information as much as we can. So that's great. So that was your first tattoo, that half sleeve with the honeysuckles and was the hummingbird initially with that, or that looks separate?
I got the hummingbird a few months later after I finished like the whole outside of the arm half sleeve.
Right. Yeah, I imagine the inside is painful. I've gotten up to the collarbone and on the ribs. Those are bad, but I can't imagine that soft tissue on the inside arm.
I have a Sailor Jerry anchor on this side of the inside of the arm. So yeah.
What is that?
It's swollen.
What is it?
It's a Sailor Jerry anchor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's cool. That one.
I pin up on this arm, so it goes with that.
Oh, right on, right on. So that was your first and most heartfelt tattoo. What was the last tattoo you got?
The last tattoo I got was the awareness ribbon on my hip, and it's purple, and it has like an eye in the center of the ribbon, and it's for my eye condition, which is retinitis pigmentosa.
Now say that louder and a little slower so people can pick it up.
The eye condition I have is called retinitis pigmentosa. Most people just call it RP.
Okay. So that's surprising. So you weren't born without vision. You've developed it because of this condition. How old were you when that started affecting you?
So I was born with RP, but they didn't diagnose me until I was 5. And like the thing with RP is that your vision changes as you get older. So I used to be able to see better when I was younger, not 100%, but better. Mm-hmm. And then as I've gotten older, I'm going to be 29 in June. So I've gotten blinder as I get older, basically.
So it's just a severe increase in the degeneration of the eyes.
Right. It basically is, the thing with RP is it's like slowly deteriorating your retina.
The retina. Right. Wow. So there's no surgery that can correct it. LASIK isn't going to do anything like that because it has nothing to do with the shape of the cornea, right? Which is, I believe, what LASIK takes care of.
Right. Like, and no, there's like no eye transplant. Like that's just in the movies. The only part of the eye that's transplantable is the cornea. And most people who have like disorders, it doesn't have anything to do with their cornea. So. Right.
Yeah, I was legally blind just due to regular degeneration of the cornea. And so I was able to get LASIK and fix that. Of course, I'm using glasses again because 9 years later, your eyes still degenerate at the same rate until you're of a certain age, and then it slows down, right? But sorry, don't mean to make it about me. That is fascinating. Fascinating. That is a fascinating thing to let people know about. Okay, so moving on to Emily. What was your first tattoo, your most meaningful tattoo, and your latest tattoo?
Okay, so I now have 19 tattoos.
Whoa! All individual? Or do any of them, are some of them like incorporated into others?
Not really. They're all pretty much separated from each other.
Standalones? That's cool.
Standalones, yeah. My very first tattoo, it was it's on. Oh, sorry.
We'll just hit the button unicorn.
It's on my back, right under my neck, and it's a Trinity symbol. It has serenity, wisdom, and courage written into the Trinities. And I have always like had really, really, really bad anxiety for as long as I can remember. I want to say I was probably 3 years old the first time I remember having anxiety, and my parents were going out, and I was thinking, oh, they're not going to come back because they're going to get in a car accident. Like, That's the first memory I have of anxiety.
Right. That's not a common thing as far people don't understand that anxiety, depression, certain things that just affect you at a young age, they don't just go away. They're not things that everybody understands because, oh, you're just a kid. How can you even think that way or understand what that means? People take it for granted a lot.
Right. Exactly. Like I said, I was a kid, like a toddler, and that was one of my very first memories. And so when I was trying to figure out what I wanted for my first tattoo, I was like talking to my mom about it, and I had a necklace from James Avery that was that symbol. And of course, the Serenity Prayer is for, it's for people who have anxiety, people that are going through AA and things like that. It's just comforting to speak those words into your life to help you remember to stay grounded and stay calm and come out of that dark place.
So you know the Serenity Prayer?
Yeah.
Or
Don't
forgive
make
me
me.
for the things I cannot change and cannot. Man, I used to know it. I used to know it back when I cared about AA, and I was trying to get clean for the first time. I learned that, and now I'm kind of just okay with my fucking problems. So
I have accepted the human that I am.
Acceptance.
exactly, I've accepted the things I cannot change.
Exactly.
Just do it responsibly. That's all. Okay, so that was your first tattoo, the Trinity. Is that what you're?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I got that on my 18th birthday. I was in that tattoo shop on my 18th birthday. Like, all right, let's do this.
And Britt, you said your first one was at 18 or 19?
19.
19. Okay. It's always one of those curious things when people decide to get their tattoos. All right. And so, what was your latest ink, Emily?
My latest tattoo,
Oh,
I got.
Ink Emily. Why did you change your name on Instagram? I was looking. That's the reason I didn't do more research on this, because I couldn't
Oh,
change you from Inked Emily to Mex.
Call me M.
call
I think.
me M.
Yeah. Next, it looks like it says call Mex.
It did look like
Yeah.
Nice.
some
Okay, well maybe I'll change it back. Wow.
Yeah. She's from California.
Cali. Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It confused me. It did confuse me.
Well, thank you for the feedback. I will go back to Pretty and Ink Emily then.
Because I knew it was Ink Emily, so I kept writing that. Who the hell are these people?
This is not her.
No.
Way to go, Emily.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to confuse people. I'll go back.
Yeah, we know you as Ink Emily, not Emily, your last name.
I think we've called you Ink Emily for since
Yeah.
we started the podcast now.
Every time we bring you up,
That's who I become. Okay.
Yeah, I think we've been talking about you for a few months trying to get
yeah,
you
because
on.
we've been wanting you on ever since the whole Women of Ink fiasco. We've also been wanting Roz Monster on, but she's been
Everybody's busy.
Yeah, her busy schedule.
And now quarantined.
Yeah, and then when you announced your business, I was like, great. Now we have a reason to have Emily over.
So, let's
Her ink.
keep rolling on the ink. So your latest.
Okay, so I got tattooed. I want to say 2 weeks ago, and
Wow.
I got a cardinal right here on my
Oh.
shoulder,
This stuff.
and then on the back of my arm. Let me get closer. I'll show y'all. Right back here, I have some blue bonnets,
Blue bonnets. Oh wow.
and then the cardinal. So I got these like in succession. It was supposed to kind of flow together, but the way that spot was, he just kind of made it flow, and it worked out. I really like it a lot.
Like that 50 pinup style inking that he does too. That person did. Like
yes. That's what this whole sleeve is going to be. Is basically like traditional style.
traditional style, yeah.
So,
That's red. That's red. Okay, and what about Kimberlyn? What do you got going on? Do you got any? What's your first one, last one? How many do you got?
Meaningful one.
I have like more than 10. I don't know.
You stop counting after the first drunken one.
What? First of all,
You started this. You brought it up that you're the crazy Kim, and now you're Kimberlyn. So what?
I don't even have a response.
She doesn't have a response because it's true.
Okay, so almost all of my tattoos were like me walking in and being like, let's do a tattoo. So my first one was like, I did almost all of mine at Electra Art, and my first one was with Arnold, and he's a big guy.
Oh yeah, I know
And
Arnold.
I was like 2 months after my 18th birthday, I text my mom, I'm going to get a tattoo, and she's like, okay, because I also am terrified of needles. And so
Really? Three of you?
Arnold literally
Yeah,
put
Emily
his
raising her hand.
What did you do to that? Emily just injured my dog. Like, all right. So,
Okay.
anyways,
Animal abuse. Calling the authority.
I was laying on the table and I'm just getting like this tiny little piece on my hip. And I was shaking so hard that Arnold put his arm on my legs to hold them still and just ignored me. And my best friend at the time, Brew, he was there and he's like chatting with me. And I like sit up and I'm like, is that blood? He's like, no, that's ink. I'm like, no, that's blood. And I just kind of like drop back. And my mom texted me. She's like, hey, where are you at? And he texts her and he's like, hey, this is Rue. She's getting tattooed right now. And my mom is like, oh my God.
She didn't believe.
I thought you were joking.
Oh, that's hilarious.
So my first one was this tiny little tattoo. It's like a heart with a rose going through it.
Oh, cute.
So like a year later, I walked into a shipwreck tattoo. And I'm like, hey, tattoo a snake down my side. And so I went from this tiny little to like the entire right side of my body down to mid-thigh being tattooed.
Oh, wow. That's epic.
And now I go to Brian, and I only go to Brian now. And my latest one, we just did like this whole half sleeve over the past.
Yeah, that Texas there?
Yeah, so my Texas, but the latest one is a miniature cow. We named him Franklin.
Oh, what detail. That's great.
Oh my God, yeah. Brian at Electra, he's super amazing. But yeah, most of my tattoos are really big. Like the whole right side is cherry blossoms, and the whole left side is like roses with all the initials of my family who served in the military.
Oh, awesome. Being how many?
One of my favorite things is that we're doing everything on the right side of my body in color, and everything on the left side of my body is gray.
Okay. See, I've always seen guys always go gray wash, so I decided all my tattoos are gonna be in color. So everything I've got like real bright colors. I've got a monkey pirate on my stomach here.
Oh my God.
And that's because my grandma used to always call me her little chango because I'd eat all her bananas, her little monkey.
First of all, I don't think you can say that on public stuff. I think
No, I'm brown. It's okay. No, I'm brown. It's okay. It's okay.
No, I'm brown.
Hey, we're bringing it back.
I'm brown enough anyway. So I've got that. It's a pirate monkey, and then my initials are ARG. And at the time, I lived with this guy who would take me to the bar. I was sober at the time. I hadn't started drinking yet, so I was the designated driver, and they'd always say, "Arg, take me to the bar." So I decided monkey felt right. And then
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah, that was my first one. So I got that. My girlfriend at the time's brother was doing them out of his house. So all of mine are done by him, and they came out great. No problems. But that first one, I was 16.
That's definitely illegal, but whatever.
I was 17, I think. So I went on a cruise with my parents and never told them about the tattoo. So they kept trying to go in the pool. Like, no, I'm not in the mood to go in the pool. Your dad's going snorkeling in this perfectly clear water on the Florida in this beautiful island that only the ship can go to, and all this. No, I'm not in the mood. They're like, AR, what's going on? What the hell's happening? If I told you, you promise you won't get mad. No, I was 18. 17?
You were still in high school. Yeah.
No, I must have graduated.
Oh, so
Fuck, I did too many drugs in my life.
Oh,
So I finally I take my shirt off, and my first tattoo, it's not a little tattoo, it's from like my first or second rib up down to my hip, so it's a good 6 inches or so. And my mom's like, "Hey, you couldn't get a smaller tattoo for your first time." Started after she's like, it already happened, so she was fine with it. But yeah, that was not fun to hide from. It was like 2 days till the end of the cruise, and it finally came out. I was so pissed. I was like, I couldn't make it 2 more days. God damn it.
So did you get to go snorkeling?
No, it was wet.
Oh
It was,
my God!
just
What
got
a
wet
waste.
before we went. Yeah, I wasn't gonna get wet. Dude, the color stayed on it too. Like it popped so good because I took such good care of it. I love it.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, my other ones are a little iffy. Like I I got this lizard done on my shoulder here, which was anticipated. That was my second one, I think, right? This is like a Sobe lizard. Love it. But then we had like this tattoo party at my apartment and had like 2 or 3 people get tattoos. I was like, well, fuck it, add something. So I remember the Life documentary where the lizard like snatches the dragonfly out of the air. So I got the dragonfly added. And it looks like shit because it's all washed off. I was like half pilled out.
Oh my god!
Gotta get that one redone. I mean, the detail is good. It's just the color didn't hold. It's real faded. Yeah, yeah.
One drunken tattoo covered up. Not that I'm ashamed of it or anything. It just doesn't flow with the rest of my like soon-to-be sleeve, because me and my girlfriends at the time, we all walked into the tattoo parlor. We were shit-faced. We're like, oh my god, let's get matching tattoos.
Yes.
You know, like basic drunk white girls. And so we let Heather pick it out, and she points at it. She's like, I want the swirly, swirly, star.
Say that with a little less drunk in your voice. What the hell did you just say? What did you just say?
Swirly, swirly, star.
Oh, no, that's what it sounded like. Yeah, that's what you said.
It's just, so, I mean, like, I don't think you can see it now. Sorry, let me do this without, like, flashing my boobs. So it's under here, but it's, like, swirls and stars. And this is, like, the start of my cherry blossom branch. So, like, we're covering it up.
Right on. Yeah, careful.
So we all have, you know, we all got that. And then they're like, oh, my God, let's get piercings. And I'm like, oh, you like piercings? Oh, yeah. So we all got our titties pierced. It didn't last long. Took them out like 2 months later. It was terrible and painful.
My wife won't let me get mine pierced.
Oh.
I want it pierced so bad. I've always wanted to.
Sounds like it hurts.
Sorry, what?
They put the bars too short for me, so mine never healed. And like, I finally went back. I cut one out, and I went back because I couldn't get the other one out, and he couldn't get it unscrewed either.
Shit.
So like, I'm laying in this chair like topless, and he's like going to get the like pliers and stuff. Oh my
Jesus.
God! I screamed like a little bitch, like screamed, and like the guy in the room next to us like looks through the window like, what the fuck is going on? And I get off the chair, it's drenched in sweat. I've got like blood running down my boob. I'm like, this is awful. I went to the bar. After that, I went to the bar.
There you go. Thin out that.
It was terrible.
That's fantastic. Well, this one already gone so much better than I thought it was.
Straight up wasn't having a good time.
Brittany, you've been quiet over there. You got anything to add to these stories? Do you have any horrific tattoo memories or any bad?
All of my stuff has been planned. Like everything I have has been planned.
It's almost like you're the most adult out of the three.
Yes! We tell her she's the adult. She is in charge.
She's the mom of our group.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, I was gonna say that. She strikes me as the overseer of you two.
This is
I mean,
true.
I try. I try. You know,
Doesn't always work.
I cannot be held liable.
but she does make efforts.
What's that tattoo on your foot? It's got me curious.
It's a peak.
It's a peacock feather.
How did you see that? I can't.
She
even see
told you about it when you
did
asked
she?
her.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Perfect. My name is not Jesus.
Just fucking.
I got long hair and a beard.
That one
Not
probably hurt the
Jesus.
most.
Sorry?
That one probably hurt the most because
Yeah.
all the little bones in the foot.
Yeah.
See,
Ah,
the foot
infinity.
we all have our foots done.
Oh, this thing.
no,
You got-
no. So
That
we
sounds
do have intentions of getting a matching tattoo.
On the other foot.
That's so
No!
awesome.
Actually, on our
Done?
shoulder chest area.
What? We were talking over each other a little bit.
Like right here.
What about right there?
They're matching
We're gonna
tattoos.
get matching tattoos.
Oh, you're going to see me and Frank are playing with the idea of going to get something on it. We both have this share a birthday on June 8th, so we're talking
Yeah.
about going to
Get Chewbacca.
get. Oh my God, no!
No, because I was thinking I said it in the cast
I'm a Star Wars
episode.
fan though. Maybe like
I was thinking that we should get a Jay and Silent Bob matching tattoo
yes!
on our asses.
Oh, on our ass.
Yeah,
What?
yeah. Like, we put them together and it's Jay and Silent Bob.
No, I want one. I love one of their faces like over my penis, like over my pubis. Jay's face
That
right there.
sounds
with,
like it hurts.
with like the little thought bubble saying "Snoochie Boochies."
Oh my god.
Although it sounds like it's gonna
Hey,
hurt.
boo boo kitty fuck.
Oh my gosh.
Huh? Boo Boo Kitty.
Boo-boo kitty fuck.
Booby kitty? No, that has to go on the wife. She can get that
Oh
Oh my.
Oh, that poor woman.
one on each cheek. It'll be boo boo on one cheek and kitty fuck on the other.
Oh, that
Oh.
poor lady.
You guys,
That's what you're getting into when she married you, right?
how did I get in trouble for your idea?
I didn't say on her though. I didn't put that on your wife.
Oh, my
You know
miss.
what? I vote that y'all get unicorn tattoos.
Oh, Invader Zim on a unicorn. I would totally do.
I was thinking
Oh,
Deadpool.
Grr.
I was thinking Deadpool.
Grr.
Fucking
Grr.
Gert rides the pig though.
No, he was carrying the pig. He'd carry the pig on the unicorn, riding down the road with his suit flapping in the wind, the little dog head flapping, like his onesie. Woo!
He wants
Zim
to sing
got his-
the song.
We've got it. I figured out my tattoo.
Yeah, but
You don't know who Gur is?
Good ideas sometimes.
We are creative.
There's a time or two. So, so let's move on. So you guys have started this company. It's now you guys have your first event coming up, right? I saw that you were taking entries and stuff.
It's been
For
postponed because,
Because of the Rona.
because of Rona. Pinche Rona. So, so what are you guys gonna do? So what's it? What first off? How do you have any idea? Well, I guess none of us haven't. This Corona is really fucking up interviews.
yeah, that the soonest we'll get back up is July. Some say August.
I heard April.
Some
How is
say,
it months after now?
Well, because Trump is planning to have this all done by
Hey,
Easter.
you're yelling into the mic. bro.
Some
I am.
things. No, and some people have been saying that it's gonna take up to 18 months. I'm
Jesus
like, I don't
Christ.
think so. China got recovered in 4 months.
Are they recovering already?
Yeah.
So what do y'all know about Corona? How do y'all feel? What's going on in your neck of the woods?
Right now, we have a stay-at-home order in place, which is like less strict than a shelter-in-place order.
As you can see, we don't listen, and we're all here together.
We
No,
got-
no, we're still compliant. They said that you shouldn't be in groups of more than 5, and there's 3 of us.
Mhm.
Well,
Oh, we
4.
had
My toddler doesn't count.
She's a half a person.
Yeah, 3.5.
She's a pet.
carrier though. Your toddler's the carrier. It's the kids. The kids don't show any symptoms. They just carry the shit.
We lock her away in the room.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Quarantine.
Quarantine.
She's watching Frozen.
She's
Got
not
her
locked
diaper
away.
taped
She's-
on. I gave her a
Let's
snack,
do this.
gave her a drink. Fine.
There. Yeah,
Oh,
we don't.
speaking of Frozen and the Rona, did you hear about how?
Frozen Rona?
Yeah, everyone's googling the name of the kingdom in Tangled. Yeah,
Yes. Corona.
Yeah. Rapunzel was quarantined, or not quarantined, but she was contained, and the village is named Corona.
The story has literally been around for hundreds of years, and we're gonna say that it's some sort of fucking
Prediction
Disney
shit.
conspiracy
Yeah.
fuck you. Just fuck you. Fuck you for even.
It's not a new concept.
Yeah, I mean, so we're dealing. I mean, they said that supposedly businesses like that were classified as non-essential can open back up on April 10th. So let's hope. But all 3 of us, well, Emily, you're working from home now, right?
Mhm. Yeah, my job is mostly, on the computer and internet based. We're kind of like the headquarters for the farmers insurance agents in the area. So as long as they can call us, as long as we have access to our dashboard, then we're okay. I'm super fortunate. So yeah, right now I'm working from home until whenever all of this is over with.
For me,
Yeah.
I'm training some of my clients online, and then some of them I probably won't hear back from until we can open our gym again. So that sucks, but we make do.
Right. I'm really curious. I gotta ask, how much do you charge for your personal?
It just depends. Like for in person, I charge an hourly rate, and it depends how many days a week you'll be coming in.
Right.
Obviously, the more you train, the cheaper it is. And then my online programs, I do meal plans as well as online training plans. That also depends on.
I'm sorry. Emily's trying to suck the horn over here. She's the worst.
She was
She's
sticking
not-
it in my nose.
What? I'm not looking at all of Brittany. Let her speak. Stop distracting.
Sorry.
We have
Brittany wasn't paying
I'm
attention.
done.
deal with this.
I'm done.
Sorry, Brittany. Before you were rudely interrupted with horn fellatio.
See, this is a summary of our friendship. This is how this
This
goes.
is why
You're
sometimes
just-
I mute the group chat.
She needs a break from us from time to time.
I do. Whenever I work out, I do mute the group chat so that I don't get distracted. And then sometimes I'll come back and then Kimberly's like, "Where's Brittany?"
I was like, she's probably working out. Leave her alone.
There you
My
go.
assumption every time she doesn't respond is that she's died.
It's self-care.
And shit, where do we go from here? What else you got, Frank?
Oh, well,
you
I got-
actually had things written down.
Yeah, I got questions. I scratched out.
Hey, hold on.
What? I'm screaming again?
No, well, yes, but
Okay.
I gave you
Well, yes, but
you
no.
brought up some shit from 4 months ago. Don't fuck it up this time. What do you got?
No, yeah, I already scratched out the things we've already touched on.
Do you consider yourself a tattoo?
Do you ladies consider yourselves tattoo collectors? Because I've heard that term tossed around, and I'm like,
Yeah.
really?
Are you just trying to get as much as you can every time you have a penny for it, or is it just more of an emotional thing? You're in the mood for it. Like what is your mindset as far as getting future tattoos?
I'm definitely not a collector. Like I said, all mine's been planned, and like I think about it. Like if I have an idea, sometimes it's like fleeting. Like I'll like it for 3 months, and then I'm like, maybe not. So if I have an idea that I just can't stop thinking about, then I'll go get it done.
Right. Yeah, I've had this one. Most of mine are animal. I have one that's not an animal. The one on my arm here, my half sleeve, is a little garden nymph fairy thing sitting on a black flower, and it sounds more sexual than it is. It represents my grandmother. She does have big tits.
Oh, they're
It's
not
like-
sexual.
it's sort of-
Grandmas aren't sexual.
No. Well,
No.
grandmas aren't sexual to you, but I'm sure that they.
To grandpas, they are.
Like,
Yeah,
hello, Granny.
yeah, get it, Grandpa. So.
Hey.
So I got that one because I used to help my grandma in the garden a lot, in her personal garden, and I wanted some sort of angel figure, but I didn't want an angel per se because I'm not religious. I'm religious, but I'm not
religious?
I'm an atheist
You're agnostic.
theist. No, because I believe in the principles. I don't believe in the religion.
Yeah.
Or the God itself.
Yeah.
But I believe in the principles, you
Yeah.
know?
You're spiritual.
Spiritual.
Mm, okay. So
Is this a whole topic within itself?
oh yes. No,
Yeah.
religion is a huge topic on this podcast.
Yeah,
Maybe
we had a whole episode on what is Tony.
we've had several.
Tony.
Yeah,
I
he
just live by one
Strange.
rule. I just live by one rule, and that's don't be a fucking asshole. There we go.
Yeah, there you go.
well,
Yeah.
I've always lived my life. Well, the last few years have been living my life based on the one ideology that I read in the Bible, that God is in each and every one of us. So if God is in each and every one of us, treat each other like God, treat yourself like God. We are all worthy of praise, you know? Just respect the individual as you would respect yourself, you know? The golden rule, right? Treat others the same way. Hello! Look at
Governor.
Hold on,
What-
Brittany. Let me give you some insight as to what just happened. There's a stuffed unicorn, and its head just peeped over the edge of the table into the video
His
feed.
big eyes just peeked over the. Hi, I want to join the conversation.
Hello, Lola. How are you?
Lola.
My name is
That's my sister's boyfriend's dog's name. Lola.
Really, my sister's boyfriend's dog.
Yeah.
Lola is the name of
Yes.
the
Oh
only character I have ever fantasized about. Lola Bunny from Space Jam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh my god, she was
Yeah.
a hoe bunny.
That's how I want to be for Halloween.
Yes.
Yeah, whole bunny. Yeah, you can pull off the whole bunny. You got the hair.
You have the
for it.
boobs for it.
I
The
will
boobs and
donate
the hair.
to your page or whatever. I want to see those pictures. Lola Bunny forever. Anyone? Frank, I will pay you to dress up like Lola Bunny right now.
You don't have to pay me.
Oh.
Lola Bunny.
No!
Frank's my boy.
Yes, do like bugs.
So real quick, I'm gonna change the direction of our conversation.
Because we've lost all train of thought here.
I'm gonna bring it back to our Inkorporated events. So our meet and greet, we have those details a little hush. We want to really kind of I guess shock and awe whenever we actually do post the photos. But a couple of things we do have in the works. Well, right now we are collecting donations to help our senior citizens who are like currently, stuck in their facilities with no visitation or anything because of the coronavirus. So, comfort items like socks, little lap blankets, snacks, and just anything that would make their lives a little more comfortable. And then also we have something else in the works where we are going to end up, once we get with the facility, we are going to be selling our merchandise where a certain percentage of it will be going to the rescue that we end up working with, as well as we're going to do some pinup photo shoots with adoptable dogs. And
Is that with the same rescue? The same rescue clinic?
So the senior citizens where we're taking donations, that's for like the local nursing homes. So that's like one charity event we have going on right now.
And what's that? What's that charity event called? Where can people contact? Let's go through these individually. Don't just run through them all. You guys
sorry,
are doing.
I talk fast and I talk a lot.
No. That's perfectly fine. That lets us know where the conversation is going. But let's get more into detail about these. Where can people get involved and help out?
Okay, so if you actually go on our page, sorry, I just pulled it up. We've got like this post right here, and it's a care package donation drive. And we're probably going to do it for another week before we actually go and drop the stuff off at the senior facilities. So all you have to do is message the page, and we'll find a way to either meet with you, come to you, find a drop-off location for those items.
And this is in Corpus, of course.
Yes, in Corpus Christi.
Or if you're not local, you can still donate money. We have Cash App and PayPal. Yeah, our business.
Great. Yeah, let us know the links for all that. We'll definitely post it, and we'll throw $5-10 to you guys, whatever we can pull together here.
We definitely appreciate that because it's our one of the things that we're trying to do as a company and as a brand is really show people that we have a positive impact on our local community as tattooed professional people in our community. Like, what we want to do is show that we're a positive part.
Right. It has been a thing in the past. I wouldn't say recently, but definitely when I was growing up, the people that did have more exuberant tattoos, more tattoos that were readily visible to the public, they always, they were always the types of people that were a little anti-establishment. And this is the 90s, early 2000s when tattoos were still growing. They aren't what they are today, where everybody is from all ilks of life are covered in tattoos now. So it's important that people see a different type of person representing the tattoo culture, because all they've ever seen are people, with their heads tatted on a motorcycle, and that's or all they see are the rappers on TV with their faces tatted up and talking about bitches, hoes, and money and drugs.
All of those things are nice, but
I appreciate all bitches, hoes, and money, but
right, like in the 90s and early 2000s, like tattoos was kind of taboo. It was kind of the rebellious thing. So when people were seen, quote unquote, it was for shock value.
Right.
Now it's like you don't need to do that. You can be a successful, established person, and you don't necessarily we had this conversation. We were like thinking about what the direction of our brand was, and for me personally, like when I was starting to get tattoos 10 years ago, we were talking about modeling too, because obviously modeling ties a lot into our brand as well. Right. And when I was getting tattoos and I was starting to think about getting into modeling, there weren't very many tattooed models that weren't naked.
That weren't doing.
I idolize suicide girls, and I'm not going to say there's anything wrong with that. But now that I'm older and I'm looking back, I'm like, wow, that was the only source of role model material I had.
Yeah, and
That's kind
there's
of
a lot to
scary
be
for.
there's a lot to be said about suicide girls. I mean, they're beautiful. Of course, I was a hormonal teen, so when I first discovered them, it was all about sexuality. I'm a male. I'm sorry, I got testosterone. That's how it works. But once I found now as an adult, as a 30-year-old male whose testosterone levels have balanced out and hormone levels have balanced out, I can see those pictures of Inka. Gorgeous. They are absolutely gorgeous, and it's not a sexual thing to me anymore. But for the people that are growing up seeing these photos of women in risque lingerie, I think it would be really important to do types of photo shoots that, like for instance, what you're wearing right now, Brittany, is phenomenal. I love that dress. If you took a photo shoot right now, how you are, I think that would be a fantastic, because it's business beautiful, I'd like to call it, but still showing off your tattoos in a way that's elegant and respectful to any sort of situation you might find yourself in. I think those are
And
the
that's our brand.
yeah, that's exactly the type of visual we need, I would say, for people to see tattoos in a more professional light. Because I follow people. There's a lot of medical workers, nurses that are tattoo sleeve, men and women, sleeved up neck tattoos. Some of them even with face tattoos. But you know what? They're still helping save people's lives every day, and they have more education and experience in this aspect than I ever will. And for that seeing them in that light gives them a much more respectable ideal, I guess, to the more conservative people.
Yeah,
So
it's a different type of market to tap into, because I don't want you to think that like I'm shaming anybody who still likes suicide girls. Like, they are beautiful. And me, I'm like I told you earlier, I'm very body positive. In bodybuilding, the bikinis we compete in are very minuscule. Like, they're tiny. I'm
yeah,
not ashamed of my body or showing it off, but it's like I said, I don't want an 18 or 19-year-old to look at tattooed models and think that in order to be a model, you have to be in your undies all the time.
right.
That's not true anymore. We don't need the shock value anymore. You can do whatever you're comfortable with doing and be your own person, and not try to have to live up to the old ideals of, if you're going to be a tattoo model, you have to be risque all the time. But I've done implied nude shoots before, and I don't want people to think I'm a giant hypocrite. Like, I'm over here like, keep your clothes on, but then I'm over there with my tits hanging out. Like, that's not it at all. I think nudity can be tasteful when it's done properly. But lately, what we've noticed a trend is that, especially with the younger generation of models, like 18, 19, 20-year-olds, it's like, who can get the most naked and who can be in the most risque position.
Oh
So
yeah.
there was something, someone made a post about like when, you know, oh, I can't wait to shoots after this is all over, and someone posted about, yeah, this ass is gonna be all up in that camera or something. I'm like, ew.
Like, ew. Like,
Ew.
why? Why would you even, like, I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of like victim blaming by any means. I think that the internet has made people brave and made it very easy for men and women to be inappropriate with each other. Yeah. It's unwarranted. But I mean,
Unwarranted inappropriateness. We're all about being
like,
completely
yeah,
inappropriate.
Yeah.
you can't say things like that, like, oh, I can't wait to put my ass in your camera, and then be shocked when somebody slides in your DMs. Like, you just can't. So that's another thing we're trying to portray with our brand is, the people we have at our events, we want to be a respectable unit that supports each other, and you feel safe and you can feel comfortable and not be in competition with each other. Like,
Yeah.
that's the biggest thing too.
We're all here for each other. Like,
Right.
this is a
Yeah, you
this
want
is
us to
like,
This is girl
Right.
power.
woo. Well, and guys.
Well, and men,
And
men,
men too.
men
like
do.
girl power in parentheses and guys.
And guys.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was Kimberly's idea to actually make it for men and women, because she has a good point. There are a lot of like really good looking and established guys out there with tattoos, and they never really had a platform to compete. And I think that by giving them an avenue to explore that, it's just like it's making the market even bigger.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I never thought of that. You don't have Men of Ink competitions at all in any sort of way, do you?
Yeah, when it comes to
Can you think
tattooed
of any?
models, it's usually women.
There's no men. Yeah, huh.
There are men, but
Of
they're very
course.
scarce.
And the thing was, before it was portrayed as, well, this is a women empowerment thing, but really it was a way to take advantage of these women that are inked and call it
Felt exploited.
shit, you know?
Getting girls on a stage in high heels and bikinis to make as much money as they could.
Yeah, and it wasn't even run by women. So how can you have an organization called Women of Ink and then you don't have any women even behind the scenes with their hands in it? Like, it just made
Well, they tried to get their hands in it. They were trying to get their hands in it. That's the problem. So,
Yeah.
but that's fantastic. I'm so happy that you guys are organizing this. I hope we can start a true ink competition through you guys maybe one day. Um, do you guys see that in your future? Are you just trying to develop this culture for photographers and models to come together, or are you hoping to develop it into an organization, a full-fledged organization of that kind of caliber that could have big events like that?
So as of right now, we're focusing mostly on meet and greets or shootouts where we bring models and photographers together to collaborate. And then, of course, our community outreach stuff, because that was something that Women of Ink was lacking as well. It wasn't giving anything back to the community as it said it was. It really wasn't.
It was basically just, sorry, continue. I don't want to cut you off.
We know what it was. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We know what it was. Yeah, there's so much to say about it. Like, so much shade to throw, all the tea to spill. But
Yeah. We're starting small, and then we're going to try, of course, to gain traction. And we're working on shirts right now, koozies, keychains, like merchandise, all that stuff to really become a legitimate brand that you see everywhere. And of course, we do have bigger goals for the future, but it takes time, like any new business venture does. It takes time and resources and support and a network. And that's what we're trying to build right now. We're trying to build our network.
Oh, that's awesome. Emily's showing us a custom Yeti here that says Inkorporated on it, and some really rad design on there. Now, what's that on the back, that image?
This is our logo. It's condensed.
It's a little briefcase.
Yeah, a briefcase with the ink drop.
That's rad. That's so cool.
And of course, like our logo. Quit grabbing my butt.
Yeah, so we were supposed to have shirts mass produced already, but of course the corona interfered with all of that, like the purchasing of the vinyl. But once this is all over, we hope to like really just go full force and start showing up at places and selling our merch and things like that.
Right on, man. Well, let us know as soon as you guys got merch up. We'll blast it out there, see if we can get any extra buyers for you. We'll buy a couple things ourselves for sure. We were actually supposed to have some pins made up from a listener of ours with our logo on it, but I think that might be postponed from Corona as well.
Maybe.
We need to, yeah, we. But it is what it is. There's only so much. There's people at my work personally freaking out. Like, oh, can you believe this? Are you stressed? I was like, man, we're a bunch of pimples on the Earth's back. Of course, it's gonna come up with some.
You know, it's just popping us.
Yeah, it's just popping the zits. It's tired of fucking having on its back. It's the world has been overpopulated for years. We knew that. We're starting to. So anyway, back to tattoos. I want to know your individual ideas on face tattoos. None of you have them. Nothing on the neck. Are you guys? Have you all ever considered getting thing above the collarbone?
Me personally, I remember back in the day when Kat Von D and LA Ink and all of that show was real big. She said something and it stuck with me for years. Kat is obviously very heavily tattooed. She said something about the chest on a woman. It's a very feminine and very soft area of the body, and that's why she would never get her chest tattooed. I have a small tattoo here on my collar. After I got baptized, I got, my little Jesus fish. But I mean, other than that, like, I feel like this area, it's just, when you look at me, I want you to see me. I want you to see my face and who I am and not just my ink. Like my ink is an accentuation of who I am. It's not who I am completely.
That's fair. Now, I just linked you somebody on Instagram, Devlin. She's from Germany or Russia, I don't know,
Yeah,
some fucking
somewhere.
place. And she's one of those people that I follow who's a healthcare provider, nurse. Now, this woman's got half of her face is tattooed in black, half of her body is just all blacked out. You know what I mean? Um,
Right.
it's pretty cool. But I'm curious to your ideas towards that. Do you see that being more of a regular thing in the future where face tattoos, now that it's gone mainstream with all these rappers and stuff,
Mhm.
is it something
Oh,
we're going to
yeah.
see more of?
I definitely think so. And I mean, I have nothing against it. There are women out there that are beautiful and have face tattoos, and that's absolutely fine. It's not my cup of tea for me personally, but I do think I've seen that coming around a lot more. People are just getting really bold with what they want. There's a gentleman here in Corpus, and he's a business owner. He is like just blasted. He's got some like on his face, and he just recently got a tattoo on the very, very top of his head. Huge
Oh,
tattoo.
wow.
It's cool, and obviously he's a business owner, and it's great. I think that's cool, that you can be so professional and yet do these things to your body that you want to do and still portray yourself as a professional person.
Yeah. And how do you feel, Britt, about face tattoos and stuff like that? Do you have any opinion on that?
So for me, I don't foresee myself ever getting anything on my face because I kind of like what Emily said. Like when people instantly look at me, I want them to see my face, like my regular canvas. Um, Also, too, so I think something to consider is like although tattoos are becoming more mainstream and acceptable, if you're going to get a tattoo on your face, I think you really need to figure out like what occupation you're going to be in the rest of your life. Because I know as if I were to, go back to therapy, doing counseling, I definitely wouldn't want anything on my face because um, your face is the first thing that most people notice about you.
Right.
And it kind of goes back to like, I guess if you want to call it biology or science, like our face is how we tell a lot about what people are thinking, or when we're speaking to them, like facial expression. And I feel like having tattoos on your face kind of distracts from that. So I think for a lot of people, it's like this basic primal instinct to where they want to see your face as it is. And that's probably just the psychologist in me thinking that way.
That's
But
great.
yeah,
No, that's what I wanted to ask though, because I know you have that mindset. Now, just I have to ask because it's curiosity I have, and I gotta ask. You're blind. You still get tattoos. You still appreciate the artistry of good work. How does that work if you can't actually see it? You know what I mean? What is the benefit to you to get new ink, for instance?
So for me, I haven't gotten anything new since 2018, and my vision didn't start severely plummeting until this past year. So I
Oh,
haven't gotten anything new, but so all my tattoos have been done by the same person, and so she's been with me from all various stages of my vision progression.
wow.
So she would draw it up she would trace it for me in like permanent markers so that I could see it. She would put it on a projector for me, whatever I needed to get the last okay.
Right on.
And she kind of really got to know my style. Now she retired, so I started going to somebody new to get my stuff like touched up because some of this stuff I've had for 10 years, so the color is
Right.
starting to dissipate. And like I've gotten to know him as he's like working on touching up my stuff, and I trust him. So even now when I go and I get a new piece done, because I do plan to go get something new in a few months, I'm honestly probably just going to have to trust him. And I know, hey, his name's Jeremy. He's done really good work. He's highly recommended. He's very good at describing things. So that's a big thing for me. If you can really describe your art and I can see it in my head, that's a big plus for me, as well as I get outside opinions. Like I know my friends aren't going to be like, oh yeah, girl, that looks good. And then it looks like shit. Like, bitch, you got to hang out with me all the time. Like,
Right.
you're going to be looking at this too. But on top of that, also, something that is really cool is that they actually have this machine. I'm actually thinking about investing in it and getting it myself. It's called an embossing machine. So you can load an image in there and use this special paper, and it'll like raise it up,
Elevate it.
like the tracing of it, so
Yeah.
that you can feel the design. So that's something I might invest in if I have to start getting bigger pieces again.
That's fantastic. Yeah, that would be ideal for the larger pieces. Yeah, that way you could feel the shape and Wow, that's amazing. You can even get the textures in there too with an embossing machine. What an amazing idea.
Mhm.
How did you hear about that?
I mean, being visually impaired my whole life, I know a lot about technology that a lot of like sighted people don't know about. Because I mean, why would y'all? Y'all don't need to use it. So why would you? Why would you know
Look
about?
into it. Yeah, of course, of course. Well, that's incredible. If you do get that, you gotta let us know, update us. Were you, so are you planning on getting any tattoos in the near future? Any of you?
So we're gonna get a matching tattoo, the one that they talked about.
Oh,
We're
right.
gonna get a high heel, and it's going to be the bottom of the heel is going to be individually like our favorite color, and then at the bottom it's going to say empower because that's what our friendship has been about from ever since we met each other.
Mhm.
Wow, that's a really beautiful, beautiful tattoo idea. Um, how about anything else? Are you guys thinking about getting anything else individually? Has there been something gnawing away at your brain that you've been wanting to get?
I have
Well,
a few things.
yeah.
I have a few things in mind. So
Like?
planned out.
We're just gonna get, bodysuits done. No big deal.
Full leopard print from the neck down to the toe. I'd go zebra,
Oh,
zebra. That way you can't catch me in a crowd.
Oh my God.
I don't
I'm
need to
thinking
make
more
sense.
like Python because I want to look like I have eczema. Oh my God.
That's hilarious.
Chris is savage.
In case you haven't noticed.
What was that? She's too far off I couldn't hear.
Oh,
Kimberly, what'd she
back
say?
in unicorn.
Oh, I said Brit is a savage. So like when anything is when anyone's disrespecting any of us, we can always count on Brit to come in with her like verbal assault of like
Facts.
oh my god.
Woo! I like you, Britt.
Beautiful.
I like that.
She's somebody you do not want to piss off.
A professional verbal jouster. I understand.
Yes.
Yes. The way that she makes you feel stupid is that she's very educated. She doesn't come at you and say, "Oh, you're ugly. Your haircut's ugly." She attacks you at the core of who you are of being a shitty ass person.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy there are more of us out there.
She's
Yes.
getting super aggressive because she's thinking about a specific situation.
Frank thinks I hate him. I don't hate you, Frank. I just hate the person you are.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah, and if you're just a genuinely shitty ass person, we can attack you on so many different levels. Like we
And
don't
you
have to
should.
say you're ugly or you're stupid.
Even if you are.
Even if you are, that's not how we're gonna attack you. We're gonna attack you on your mentality of just being a shitty ass piece of shit.
I have a similar disorder where I have to call people out on their shit, but I'm forever trying to like coax out the better nature of them. Like, dude, do you understand that your mindset right now is just so narrow that you're not contemplating the other aspects of this situation? You need to really open up your mindset. Like, I'm trying to make them a better person as I'm telling them they're a piece of shit.
That's Brittany.
I try to do that too, but the thing is, like, some people don't want to change.
They
Nobody,
don't want to do better.
So they
nobody,
have to admit that they're wrong. You know?
yeah, nobody could take constructive criticism. If it's
Right.
criticism that's just like, oh, you're a piece of shit, they know what to do with that. Like, no, you're a piece of shit. But if you tell them something that's
No,
great,
you are.
yeah, it's a simple rebuttal, right? No,
Right.
no,
I'm never here, blue.
but yeah, so okay, we gotta keep this podcast rolling. How long have we been going? I haven't
For
even checked
about
this.
an hour and 20.
Almost 2 hours.
Well, we got about half an hour left. Frank,
Yeah.
what else you got on that little
Well,
notepad
speaking of
of-
the fucking what's it called? The
Fantastic.
face tattoos. One of the questions was, but then the conversation escaped me. If you ladies have after saying what you think about face tattoos, if any of you ladies ever dated a what's it called? Guy with a facial tattoo.
Would you? Oh yeah, would any of you date a guy with a face tattoo? Is there any issue with that?
Kimberlyn didn't answer if she would get a face or neck tattoo.
Rude.
Oh, well, maybe you should get back into.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, this is really romantic. Wow.
It's-
Oh, can you stroke my horn? Oh, this is so nice.
I'm not sure it's torn. Let's be clear.
So, my titties No, they're small, but they're lovely, and like to keep them.
Didn't you want to get a neck tattoo?
I would probably do like an elegant little neck tattoo. Nothing like I'm not gonna get no regrets tatted on my throat or anything.
How about a spider web?
No, elegant like
You
a
get what?
fluffy
And then
fairy
is MS-13? We call you Mrs. 13.
Oh no. She would be murdered very quickly.
Oh my god.
Incorporated.
Bullshit. I'm crazy.
Not that kind of crazy though.
You should get a zipper going up your throat.
You'll cut a bitch. I feel like Kimberly will cut a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
accurate.
accurate.
She's the spitfire of the group. She doesn't really think before she acts.
Okay, first of all, I don't
Do you
know
have
if
cats? Toxoplasmosis is a thing that makes you more risky of her.
Apparently.
Cats, yeah.
Yeah.
I digress. What? We were having a conversation, I think.
I would not get a face tattoo. I like my face.
It's
It's-
pretty. Yeah.
That's lovely. It's better with makeup, but I look like a little 12-year-old right now.
No, like I'm with Macklemore in that one song. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing women that they look better in their makeup. It's
Yeah.
bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Makeup is overrated. It's fish scales on your face. Get rid of it. You don't need it.
Some feminists call it slave paint.
I also like going fishing, so like I'm not scared of fish scales.
Well, I like fishing too, but I prefer it in my stomach rather than in my face.
I don't like to eat the fish scales. Like, you know, when I eat salmon, I don't like eat their freaking skin. It's kind of gross to me.
Ugh, this conversation went south.
No, because we asked if, or at least I asked if they'd ever date someone with a face tattoo, and
yeah,
then Brittany
so-
was like,
Oh,
"Hey,
yeah.
Okay, Brittany. Yeah, you've had your say. Can we move on now? No, just kidding.
Well, considering they both have significant others, and I'm the only single one in this group.
You know what? If he can
No,
pass
wait.
the application process and the interview process, he would allow Emily to go on a date with someone
regards-
with face tattoos.
In regards to that, who is what Emily? What kind of man are you looking for?
Yes. Yes. Normally,
Good.
I broke my teeth.
hold on. Normally, Emily dates
Oh, she put it up. Hold up.
short little Hispanic guys. But she hasn't really had much good luck there. So,
Yeah, I divorced a short little Hispanic guy.
Oh
too,
my
and a piece of
God.
shit.
We went to the divorce.
They went to my divorce, guys. They showed up to my court hearing. This one was in a feathered hat. As if, yeah, she was showing up to the funeral of my marriage. It
Kimberly,
was
you're the
beautiful.
That is
My
amazing.
ex-husband booked it out of that
I showed up in
courtroom.
biker boots.
Like she was ready to curb stomp him.
So Brittany shows up like
we are
she's
the ultimate
a
friend group.
rebound, and the other one shows up like she's gonna drive you guys around everywhere. What is with the sun hat? So you went with a sun hat with flowers on? Is that the idea?
It was like one of those really small, like sideways, like
Oh, the
hats
It was
with,
black.
with a veil and feathers.
It was black.
Oh,
You're
gorgeous.
like, hold on, I have it.
She's
What
gonna
was
go get it.
the-
I'm gonna go get the funeral hat.
of her marriage."
Oh,
With a business
funeral
card.
hat. That's the
Yeah.
idea. Okay, I missed the concept.
Yeah. So after the divorce, we went to brunch.
I was
and me
gonna.
and Kim were telling Emily, you know what? We've come up with a brand new business model, and Emily's like, oh my god. I was like, we are going to offer our services to accompany anybody to their divorce. We're going to be your divorce entourage. Kimberly will wear her hat. I'll bring my boots, my pin stick. Like, your significant other will not know what the fuck to do.
Dude, that's awesome. That is so
the
rad.
hat with the veil.
Yeah,
This one right here has also verbally assaulted my ex-husband.
Oh yeah.
before or after the divorce? Or both?
After.
Ah, okay.
First, the heck of all, he kept calling her.
Hang on, I need to get
And-
perspective.
He kept calling her and texting her and calling her and calling her. She had so many like unanswered calls from him. And I told her, I was like, if he calls you again, you give me his number. And she's like, fine. So I texted him and I was polite as fuck. Okay. I was like, listen, y'all are, he left her a voicemail and he was like, I don't know what I did wrong. Keep in mind, he's got a girlfriend through all of this.
Oh, you cunt. What a shit.
Right? This bitch has a girlfriend. Okay.
Fucking prick.
He brought her to the divorce and left her in the car.
Like a dog.
So I text him polite, and I'm like, listen, what you did wrong was not remain faithful in y'all's marriage. Y'all are divorced. Leave her the fuck alone. She's blocked your number for a reason. He ended up calling me and like cussing me out, and then I ended up texting his girlfriend, messaging her, and I'm like, listen, please tell your boyfriend to stop calling my bestie. Like, and then I ended up sending her all the like screenshots that Emily had sent us. I sent her the voicemail.
I love this
I told
story.
her where her ex-husband was keeping his sexy pictures of Emily still in his closet.
Oh my god.
I was like, go look in your closet, burn the book, tell him to like stay in his lane. Please stop.
And
Have you
so
heard from his husband?
that's it. You set it up. That's awesome. How long ago is this?
Like
A couple of weeks ago, a month ago.
Oh no! Give it another 4 months. He'll be back.
Oh
Yeah.
That's what everybody's telling me. Give it time. He's going to come back. I mean, he lost all of this. So
Yeah.
that will be
Yeah.
good.
I guess you. It will literally be years before he stops, and it'll probably take another kid and another wife or two before he finally gets over you. Like it.
there.
You'll be there. That looks great.
In her feather hat, ready to destroy him.
Look.
I will stand outside of his house in a full funeral attire in the rain with a black umbrella and stare at him.
You need the black eyeliner washing down off your face too.
Yes.
And a shovel.
Yes.
And
An
the
umbrella in one hand, shovel in the other.
what?
Said an umbrella in one hand and a shovel in the other.
Yeah. Yeah, that's gonna do it. For sure. I like it. I like it.
My friends, ladies and gentlemen, my friends.
If you could vlog this, Emily, if you could vlog it so we can repost it, that would be fantastic. That's a beautiful moment.
I'll have a visual. I'll redo it. We'll have a visual.
Reenactment.
A
Yeah.
reenactment for y'all.
Brittany will be the boyfriend, and you'll play yourself, and yeah.
No, because my ex-husband is way shorter than Brittany.
He's like half of me.
You'll be the girlfriend in the car waiting.
And this twat waffle wore his ring on his right hand.
His engagement ring that I bought him.
To the divorce.
Did he
With
take
his
it?
new
He signed the
girlfriend in
paper.
car.
He should have taken it off and handed it back to you at the end of the whole
I
procedure.
really wish he would have because it was expensive and I could have gotten some money for it. But I did pawn his wedding band, so there's that.
Oh, good. Did they give you a decent price?
I got like $50. I got a tank of gas and a sandwich. It was cool.
$5 foot long.
Yeah,
It was more than he was worth, so you're fine.
exactly. I had a full stomach and a full tank of gas, which is more than I got in that marriage.
Damn.
I seriously have to say congratulations on recognizing a bad situation when you were in it and knowing well enough to get out. Because there's a lot of people that are stuck in these situations that are too proud of whatever their ideal of marriage is supposed to be, or too proud of themselves, or too
scared,
embarrassed,
or too
embarrassed of their
fucking
families,
worried
thoughts.
about what they're gonna think.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of strength and courage and good friends and support around you to be able to get through it and to be as happy and smiling as you are today. Congratulations on that.
Thank you. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know where I'd be without these two. Like, I was in such a dark place whenever I left my ex, but these two have just really built me up and made me realize who I am. So I love you guys.
Yeah, when you're in a dark place, just surround yourself with two white girls. You'll brighten up. Really.
Hey, I'm up.
Half a white girl. Her
Are
and I
you
together
kidding?
is one whole white girl and one whole Mexican.
Wait, can I just point out that I'm like Portuguese and Native American as well? Like, I changed my last name. It used to be Teixeira.
Just blah, blah, blah.
So who's okay, Elizabeth Warren? Whatever you say, y'all are about as Mexican as I am black. I believe it. I'm kidding. I'm sorry. It's all love. I'm just being completely inappropriate. So, Frank, do we have any finishing questions?
Well, we got a lot of questions.
Well, let's do one or two more serious questions. Then we're gonna ask you some
serious.
dirty, inappropriate questions.
Serious. Okay. Well, fuck. Let's start with this one because it might spark a whole conversation. Do you have any tattoo horror stories?
Oh yeah. Have you
Oh, yeah.
do you know of any had just a complete shit show experience in a tattoo setting?
I'll let y'all go first.
Oh.
I don't.
Well, because you're the only one that has probably a shit show story. Because all of our tattoos were planned and done professionally.
Kim,
So,
Kim's
y'all
got a story.
remember what I said? Do y'all remember what I said my second tattoo was? The snake down my side.
Yeah.
So I walked in and I'm like, hey, tattoo a snake down my side. Well, this big scary man, he no longer works in Corpus, thank God.
Shit.
It was Bruce, Blackbeard Bruce. Oh. Anyways,
Blackbeard
I was
Bruce
19.
should be the name of a band leader. Metal thrash.
Okay.
An infant and naive.
It was the best of times.
It
It
was
was the worst of times. He was a young feathered virgin.
So first of all, he's leaning on his truck smoking a cigarette when I walk up. And I walk up behind him and he kind of pushes off his truck and he goes, I smell a woman. And I'm like, oh.
And you immediately thought, this is a good place to get a tattoo.
This is where I want to get tattooed.
Well, he had already drawn up my tattoo, so this is my second time going there. I was there to actually get the ink. And so he looks at me and he goes, oh, you. And I'm like, oh, no.
The first time that's his reaction, the second time.
Oh, and the first time he's just like, all right, I'm going to trace your side and I'll draw it up. And I was like,
That's
okay.
when he was holding down your leg and you were shaking so bad. Okay, so this is the follow-up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he was so heavy-handed that I screamed like a little bitch.
Digs in.
And I only went to 2 of my appointments with him. I let him finish the outline, and I never went back to him.
Wow.
It was so bad that the entire outline was scarred up. I was shaking so hard from the pain, there were like wiggle lines.
Yeah.
I ended up moving to Hawaii after he finished the outline. I never went back to him. There was just no way in hell. And I went to a lady in Hawaii at a place called Little Tsunami, and her name's Chanel. And, I go in and I'm shaking. Like, my knees are literally shaking. And she is like, what is wrong with you? And I was like, I don't know what happened. And she's like, oh my God, you were tattoo raped.
Yeah, it sounds like it really does. From beginning to end of that story, like, I smell a woman, and then he was heavy-handed and rough on me. Like,
The
geez.
worst part is that he was like, I can always tell when a woman's on her period because I can smell it. And I'm like,
Oh, fuck.
Like, what?
Like a fucking shark? What's wrong with you?
So that reminds
Yeah,
me.
okay, there is such a... Sorry? What'd Brittany say?
I said, you can go ahead. I know who this person is, and that reminds me of a story. He didn't tattoo me, but he was there when someone else was tattooing me, and he sat in on my tattoo, and it was terrible.
Oh, that guy.
He sat in... Who the hell sits in on somebody else's tattoo?
So my tattoo artist at the time had sold her shop, right? And
Okay.
she was in the process of converting her home into her studio. So in that time, she needed a place to tattoo her clients. So she was at this guy's shop that Kimberlyn is talking about, and she was renting a room there. Well, I show up for my appointment, and it's to get my Sailor Jerry anchor. And he just comes in and just plops his ass down in the corner, and it's really weird because it's me, my tattoo artist, and then my roommate at the time. And he's like, so you're blind. And I'm just like, yes, I am. I'm Brittany. I'm also Brittany.
Brittany, I have the name. Sorry if you're offended by that word, by the way. I should stop using it.
She's like doing the outline, and then he's like, I grew up with a blind man. We called him Blind Jim. And I'm just like, cool story, bro. Get the fuck out. Like, but I couldn't be rude because it was his shop. My friend was a guest there technically, so I'm just like, whatever, he'll go away. Well, then he's like, oh, we're getting a Sailor Jerry anchor, and I was like, yeah. And then he's like, I hate Sailor Jerry. Did you know that? Did you know that he left his wife broke, and everything about the company now is a sham, and they don't stand for morals or principles? So he goes on this 30-minute rant while I'm getting my Sailor Jerry tattoo about how much he hates Sailor Jerry, and he's like, so why do you want to get a Sailor Jerry tattoo? I was like, Well, I like Sailor Jerry, and I like his old school pinups, and I just like it. It's a little late now. She's already almost done.
Oh shit.
And then he's just like, ugh, and then he walks out. I'm like, who the fuck is that? And then my friend, the lady who was tattooing me, who's been my friend for years, she's like, I am so sorry, I'm out of here next week. Like, oh my gosh, she was mortified.
What a strange business. What
a strange man.
But that's the kind of thing that I'm saying, like back that you'd expect that in the 90s from tattoo shops in the early 2000s when people were still a little gruff and like it was a sort of demographic that went into those establishments. But now, I mean, I can't imagine anybody being anything but like a Kat Von D, like super respectful, professional tattoo parlor.
Yeah.
That's the difference between, I guess, a tattoo shop and a tattoo parlor, right? The tattoo shop's like this. It's like the difference between a cantina and a proper bar.
Yeah.
You know, you can go to the cantina down the corner where your grandpa goes, where there's $2 hookers on every other bar stool.
It's dingy.
Oh, all right. Let's go to the cantina.
Kim's in. I'm sorry, Kimberlyn. Well, you're not Kim till we're there, right? So,
That would be Kim. Kim would go to the cantina. She's buying shots for everybody.
yeah, Kimberlyn goes to the bar. Kim goes to the cantina. Got it.
Exactly.
Rito and Han.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I'm a dork. Sorry, I went deep cut Star Wars there for a second. All right, I'm done. I'm done with this interview. Do you got anything else? Do we have any inappropriate questions we can ask?
You ever dated anyone with a tattoo fetish? Because I heard there's people out there that are like that.
Where they're with you strictly because of your. How many times do you feel like you get approached by guys that are into you just for your look?
Like just for the.
Yeah, I imagine you've seen.
Literally been stopped on the beach by guys. They're like, oh my god, can we like take a picture with you? Like,
What?
Like, excuse me?
You have random guys coming up to ask to take pictures of you because you have ink?
It was out on the beach. Yeah, I had like some guys come up. I was out with my cousin and she had a side piece too. And they're like, can we like take a picture with y'all? Oh my god. Like, oh. And we're just like, okay. Sure.
You have the most tattoos of the three of you, don't you?
I don't think I have more in quantity. I think I've got more in coverage.
Yeah.
More in coverage. So, which is hilarious because you're the only one not showing any of it by wearing this unicorn onesie.
Well, rude.
Not calling you out. There's nothing bad about it. It's curious that you're the one that got all this ink to show off, and you're the one showing it off least on. But like you say, you didn't know it was going to be on camera and all this. Oh, there it is. Oh, what's that clock? Oh, big time.
It's a pocket watch, and it's set to the time that my daughter was born.
Is it 4:20?
Nice.
What time?
10:32, I believe. Yeah, I don't know.
Man, what time was she born?
Yeah, 10:32.
Pretty rad, man. That's a really unique idea. I've never seen a clock with the timestamp of your child's birth. Fantastic. Kudos. And the dog. Hi, Sadie. You're precious.
Her big butt.
It was Sadie from the.
Can you say hello? Look right there. Say hello.
She's like, I want to lick you.
Hello.
Sunshine.
I like dogs that aren't in front of me.
I bet you taste like bananas.
Bananas.
Tastes like sunshine, thank you.
I taste like rainbows. I'm a goddamn unicorn.
All right, ladies. So we're gonna last couple questions here. What do you got there?
Okay, so speaking of the whole, hey, don't be weird, wanting to take pictures of me just because I have tattoos. Have you ever, like in the winter or whenever you have the chance, covered up your in clothing, covered up your tattoos just so you can be left the fuck alone for like one night?
I hate it. Honestly, I hate the winter because I have to cover my tattoos. I hate it.
Right.
See, when people go, oh my god, and they just grab you and they start twisting your arm, like, excuse me?
Now that's more a female.
Not.
Do guys do that often, or is it more females that are just kind of like grabbing at you, looking at your
Both.
tattoos?
Well,
Guys,
yeah.
was I just?
If I wear a tank top, it's ooh, what's on your shoulder? Like, bitch, are you really pulling on my clothing right now? I will stab you.
You need
I
a
will stab
knife.
you.
Yeah, you need to carry a knife that like hangs on the belt so they could see it, not one for your pocket. Like these fuckers, that pisses me off, man. I've never had anybody touch me when I didn't want to, and I already want to stab people just for the thought of them fucking touching me when I don't want
Yeah,
to.
the
And
Brad-
I've had guys like if I go on a date, they'll like touch me, like stroke my arm, like
Ew.
what does this mean?
It puts
Well,
the
that's a date thing.
in or it gets
But
do that.
if you're on a date and it's kind of a sensual moment, that's just a play, though. That's not like that.
Like a,
No.
oh,
But if
Like-
we're having dinner and I'm trying to get down on my chicken Alfredo, how about you just let me fucking eat first?
oh yeah, don't fuck with us with our food.
Oh, I'll bite
No,
you.
of course not. You never get in between a woman and her children or a woman and her plate.
Yeah, the
Facts.
yeah,
Smart
the
man.
that
You
have
know what?
crack-
Actually, right now, somebody could have that toddler in the other room for sale. $20.
25. You got to pay for gas.
You know what? Fact. 20 if you pick it up.
Are you dropping them off or are they picking up? If they're picking up, you take an extra 5 off. If you're dropping off, you add an extra 5.
Stop hitting the table. Go, shoot.
Go.
Aw, don't get mad at the dog.
She's got a big butt and
Hey, yeah, you say that. But the dog didn't knock the phone down twice.
No,
that was Kimberly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It wasn't the dog. So calm down. All right, so let's get.
Oh, and the
Oh.
last one.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, because I'm like, we're getting into these. Do you believe where to go?
You
I lost
wrote
my
it.
question.
You
Do
son
you
of a-
believe that tattoos are over sexualized?
Obviously, that was the whole point of this conversation. Dennis,
That's the whole point of our brand.
this is the whole-
Because I had these in order, but I'm jumping around,
That's
and now
right.
they don't make
no,
sense.
no, shut up.
'Cause
We're
I'm
done.
jumping around.
Yes, like
Again, you are fired.
You're fired. Even oh, you're done. Go home.
I wouldn't mind being replaced by Emily. Look at her.
Frank doesn't want to be here. On this podcast.
so. Once again, before we sign out of here, we
No, we're
want to
not-
remind everybody
What's going on? Huh?
it's up for grabs.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Emily for grabs, just not physically. Don't grab her.
You don't know.
Don't physically grab.
I will cut a bitch. I also
I'm a tiny person, but I can fight you.
I have a gun. It has hollow points. I know how to shoot.
Beverly Hills Chihuahua, I think. What was that? I'm
No,
trying
Oh
to
my gosh, I have been compared to a chihuahua so many
She
times
is
in
a
my life.
chihuahua.
You're tiny,
Um,
but you're meaty. It's fantastic.
All they have to do is shoot me a Facebook message requesting an application, fill out the application, and we will do a Skype interview.
Yeah,
Please look
subject
like your freaking
matter,
picture.
Emily Love.
Quarantine
Any-
and chill.
All right, so let's get. I want to ask a couple of our inappropriate questions that we've gotten away from on some podcasts, but they're not going to be
Go ahead.
too bad. One for each of you. If there was one celebrity, ooh, you know what? Even better. Two of you pick for the other person. What celebrity would you want them to hook up with? So who would you pick for Brittany? Who would Brittany
You
need?
know what? I think Brittany should hook up with Channing Tatum. It reminds me of her little story.
Oh, she's got a story
No,
involved.
we can't tell that in
You
public.
cannot confirm nor deny.
Well, we're gonna we can neither.
long story short, before I met my current boyfriend, who I've been with for 5 years, so this was a long time ago.
Many moons ago.
Many a moon ago.
So I'm gonna try to make this into 2 paragraphs.
Short, sweet, to the point. Go.
It was my birthday. I was in San Antonio.
Hey, Britt, real quick, watch your legs, sweetie. Your leg, Britt's legs.
Oh, your legs. That way you don't
Okay.
give it.
Yeah, I want to be.
There you
Up-
go.
There we go. So, I was in San Antonio. It was my birthday. I was with 3 of my visually impaired friends. They took me out for my birthday. Did not know where we were going. Went to a male strip club. Ended
Yay!
up going home with a male stripper. We ended up dating for like 6 months or a year. I don't fucking know. It was on and off. It wasn't serious. The end.
Yeah, Tatum for Brittany.
The best parts of the story. Thank you. I will fill in all the more entertaining parts.
You
Go
can
ahead.
imagine 4 blind women in a male strip club.
What if you got somebody to like detail,
Right now.
verbalize everything that was going on?
Audio narrative.
He just took his shirt off. Oh my god, his pectoral muscles are glistening. Yeah.
I want to add so much to this, but it will go on for.
If I ever meet y'all in person, I'll tell you in person.
Yeah, we're We're gonna have to pay for y'all's trip to the island down here or something.
Well, we're gonna have to go.
Yeah.
Oh, or we could do a Corpus trip. We should do a
Yeah.
Corpus trip. No, that's more fun.
So Channing Tatum?
Channing Tatum.
Okay.
You cool with that?
That's fair.
Brilliant. Who do we pick for Emily, ladies?
Oh boy.
Let's pick friendly. Okay.
Short Mexican guy.
Not
The
Jolie.
short Mexican. The guy from.
Doing that to her.
I believe in science.
I get the guy from. No,
You
everyone's
want to go to a cafe or
no
something?
one cares.
Yeah.
No, okay, for real. She says she wants a tall,
Let's be honest.
fit man.
She just likes those short little Hispanic guys.
No. She wants a tall, fit man.
She wants a tall, fit man. Okay.
You want the fit man with the mindset of a short Mexican.
No, they're all little cheating hoes.
Yes.
Ah, yeah. You need an average size Mexican with enough not self-respect?
I don't know.
Worth. Self-esteem.
Self-esteem. There you go. That's what it is. Because short
Yeah.
Mexican men have no self-esteem. They're assholes.
You're Googling, aren't you?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You're
So what if we did? What if we
Yeah.
compromised? We did a short, buff person. How about Taylor Lautner?
Yes! Gay.
Hey, I'm okay with that. That's a good one. No, he's Native American. Isn't he?
Yeah, some shit.
And
Or-
Native American.
Okay, alright.
Dude, I would lick his abs.
I thought you were about to say you were. I thought she was gonna say ass.
Same.
Okay.
Hey,
Abs too,
hey,
but the
don't
abs,
fucking judge, okay? Don't judge.
Back, baby. Look at that.
I would do it.
Like, I'm very blessed to have a wife that plays with my ass. Thank God.
Okay, see? Y'all tell Reese, but he
What?
said that. I keep trying to talk him into letting me
Trying
go
to
a little.
diddle his hole.
And he's
Yeah.
scared.
Hey, why? I tell you, I tell everybody. Why would you deny yourself any possibility of extra pleasure?
Boom.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
If you tried it and you didn't like it, fine, never fucking do it again. But if you tried it and it added to the pleasure, why would you not do it anymore? Go ahead, enjoy yourself, boo boo.
All right. So Channing Tatum and Taylor Lautner.
Now,
Got it.
who's
I feel like we're gonna pick a white boy for Kimberly.
yes, she likes her white boy. Yes,
Well, I was
you
thinking
do.
of someone different who's not so.
No.
Okay.
Billy Bob Thornton.
I do like
Sexiness for an old man. I don't know what it is about that guy. He's
I don't know.
really- he got something, okay?
Country boy.
A country singer.
But a real country singer, not fucking what's his nuts, Blake Shelton. Blech.
No.
Welcome.
Ew.
You
Ew.
don't like Kenny Chesney?
He's like a scrawny little thing. I like thick boys.
Dwight Yoakam.
I don't know who that is.
No.
Look
Too
him
young
up.
for that.
He's in like horror movies as a bad guy. He's not a pretty boy.
He was the doctor in that one stupid movie.
Dwight Yoakam's hilarious. Y'all have to look him up right now on your phone just so you know how terrible an idea that is. Sexy country males.
No. Oh my God. What's his name? He's with Blake Lively. Name.
Ryan Reynolds. Ooh, Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, I would bang that shit out
Ryan
of Ryan
Reynolds.
Reynolds.
Yeah,
would
that's
suck
how I
it.
would
Are you kidding? It's Ryan Reynolds. He's beautiful.
So hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
a delicious man.
Oh,
Our dream husbands are all very attractive.
Yeah.
yeah.
I approve.
Go figure, right? I'm sure they're all really nice guys.
I think Ryan Reynolds' personality fits for me.
Oh, definitely.
I keep
Oh,
trying
yeah.
to tell Channing, it's never gonna happen. That's in my past.
I've dedicated my sense of humor to fucking Ryan Reynolds' sense of humor. Like, when I saw Van Wilder, I just lost my goddamn mind. Ooh, I just learned Bert Kreischer, the comedian, the fat boy comedian, who always takes his shirt off. You can find him on Netflix. Apparently, he talks about it that his college years were the inspiration for the story of Van Wilder.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Nice.
pretty interesting. Just a little
I like
tidbit.
Deadpool.
Yeah.
Deadpool?
Deadpool.
I would bang him even.
See, Deadpool takes it up the ass too for Sadie Hawkins. What was it?
Yes, pegging.
Yeah, he gets pegged.
Yes. He likes pegging.
I like it. He didn't do it again. See, it's okay.
He likes butt play. There you go.
He likes butt stuff. 2020.
But
Yeah, but-
Well, a pinky is a lot nicer than a strap-on. All right, it's a little different.
Which one of you thought of me when y'all were about to get weird?
Wait, say that again?
So Emily was like in the midst of getting weird with
The throes of passion.
and something happened and it made her think of me, and it really pleased me to hear that she was thinking of me in her intimate
Because
life.
her whole thing is like, ooh, you need to try butt stuff in 2020. Well, this guy I was seeing was wanting some butt stuff, and right away I thought of Kimberly.
Yay! I'm so happy you're a good influence, Kimberly.
She was there with me.
They're in spirits. You're like her Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Gotta relax.
Just don't bear down, just relax.
You must breathe, Emily. You must take a breath. You ignore the force, Emily. Ignore.
Don't go towards the force. Relax.
It hurts.
The darkness is inside of you.
Oh Lord!
I don't want any darkness inside of me.
Oh God!
Oh, okay. Inappropriate question number 2. What's the darkest you would go? No.
All the way.
Would you date a black guy? We've talked about.
Definitely a black guy. There's some beautiful black men out there.
There are some beautiful black men out there.
What a beautiful chocolate man.
That's racist. They don't taste like.
It
No.
was, not.
I think we're done. Do you
Yeah,
have any
we
inappropriate
went,
questions?
we went
for-
about a whole 1 minute over.
Are we over 2 hours already? Where do you see this timestamp?
Right there, the red dot.
Holy shit! All right, ladies, this has been fantastic. Thank you for your time. Is there any final things? Any last bits of information? Any
Where
handles?
can we find you?
Where can we find you? What you want people to know?
You can find us on Instagram at Inkorporated TX, INKORPORATEDTX. That's also the Facebook handle, so facebook.com/InkorporatedTX. That's also our email, incorporatedtx@gmail.com. If you're going to send donations for our senior citizen donations that we're going to be dropping off at the nursing home next week, our Cash App tag and our PayPal tag is also Incorporated TX. So it's all consistent.
Super easy.
So much more consistent than ours. We
Yeah.
are at completelyinappropriatepodcast@gmail.com, at completely in-app on Twitter, at at CI Podcast on Instagram, and other places. Fucking find it. Y'all are adults.
You're men. You don't know how to be consistent.
No, fuck
We're not-
Oh, wow. Sexist much? Hashtag fuck you. Well, I consider us fast friends. I think this went swimmingly. Ladies, hope you guys enjoyed your time with us. Have y'all ever done a podcast before?
No.
Yeah, we have.
I haven't.
Yeah. So I hope this holds up.
Her podcast cherry.
Oh,
Hey,
pop cherries. We don't break them.
I'll
Well,
tie it in that
I like
stem.
Up them.
Oh God, she's like, I like it rough.
Baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. All right.
We'll notate that for the guy
Here, this is
complying.
gone way too long. Kim, Britt, Emily. Say goodbye. Sign off. Any last words?
Sayonara, suckers.
Bye.
Bye.
Cool.
Yes, to each other.
And find your happy, ladies and gentlemen. Find it, hold on to it, lock it, put it in your pocket. Love you. All right, gonna stop recording here.
Okay.
All right.
We are